Hey, we're live.
All right.
All right. Hey, this is Joshua McCoy. I have the pleasure of just having a chat with the all business and all beautiful Naya F. Powell, who is a holistic lifestyle strategist and executive coach. And so it is definitely my privilege for anyone else who's joined. I believe me, it's going to be worth your 20 minutes here and check out what she has to say. Now, we just want to go ahead and jump right into it, if that's okay with you, Naya.
It is absolutely. Thank you for that warm and very gracious and kind introduction, Josh.
Oh yeah, no worries. Now, one of the things that we were talking about a little bit earlier is that the basic idea of what we're doing here, or what you're doing here, excuse me, is helping people live the life that they love, right? So,
Absolutely.
if you could just tell people, because I think a lot of times people they've heard life coach and that kind of thing thrown around. Could you just kind of bring it all together for us so we can understand what a life coach actually is, what she might do, how she helps individuals?
Sure, I'm happy to do that. So, as a life coach, I am a life coach. I help people in life, actually, and in business, really living the life that they love, operating in the fullness of their gifts, their purpose, and really creating action steps to achieve the desired outcomes that people have for their lives. And so I like to see myself as a holistic lifestyle strategist because our lives have a lot of different components, but it's extremely important to look and evaluate each area of our lives, of course, mentally, spiritually, and physically, but even taking it a step further and looking at our lives relationally, emotionally, financially, and just kind of flushing out. And I like to take my clients through a process of looking at each area of their life, and we do an evaluation of which areas are most imbalanced and which areas are most out of balance, because we want to live a harmonious life. We want our personal life and our professional life to be working together for the good and for the whole, so it's not very lopsided. And I have a couple analogies that I like to use. One that people can relate to is thinking of their dream car. And if you have, whether it's a Maserati or it's a Range Rover, if it has a new paint job, new rims, leather interior, everything looks great, but the alternator is bad, it's going to start to drain on the different areas of the car. And while some things look great, it still will make it dysfunctional. It'll start to wear out different areas, and if not fixed or addressed, it could really destroy the whole car. Where our lives are the same way. So as a life coach, I help my clients to just create those desired outcomes in each area, so they're living a holistically and abundant life.
Wow, that's very powerful. I really love that analogy, and I think as entrepreneurs, a lot of times we do get caught up in just going and going and going, and we forget about different things like even if it's something as simple as, hey, you need gas, so you have to refuel. But then it's like, okay, maybe the oil needs to be changed or some of that. So that's really cool. I think it's really important to people, for people to know that as entrepreneurs. Now, you touched on something that I thought was really important. You were talking about balance,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what are some of the areas that you're looking at when you're speaking to entrepreneurs a lot, whether it's through your seminars or whether it's directly with your clients? What are some of those things that you've seen that are areas where entrepreneurs are imbalanced or could use some type of improvement there?
Well, I think of the burnout, just being the work-life balance. We hear it's talked about so often, but it's really huge because as an entrepreneur, you're having to do so much and come up with every different layer of one's business. And if there's no one else to do it, you have to do it yourself. So I think having a cutoff time, having a time where, after a certain point in time, especially if you are in relationship with others, you have a significant other, you have a family, you have children, you definitely want to be mindful of these other areas and saying, there are times where this is a no cell zone or no technology zone. I'm not bringing my laptop into my bedroom. I'm having boundaries in my life, and even I have a day that is a no work day, because anything, even the things that we love, if we're doing them so much and we don't have the proper balance, then you have burnout, and then the other areas of your life suffer, and the people can start to resent it, even though it may be a great idea, because there's so much poured into that. Other areas are being depleted, and soon it's not fulfilling and it becomes this vicious cycle. So for entrepreneurs, myself included, I have to create space for the different areas of my life that are important to me. So social life is extremely important to me. So on the weekends, I live for the weekends. And even though I may have some business meetings on Saturday, I make sure I keep them the early part of the day. So by 2 or 3 o'clock, I still have the rest of my day. I don't work on Sunday. So whatever works for people based on their schedule and their life, but they have to create space for the enjoyment part of life and for even their well-being, making sure that they're having time to have solitude or pray or journal, to practice gratitude. That's a huge value that I believe in practicing every single day. When I wake up, it's one of my first levels of consciousness is what can I thank God for. Otherwise, we can be burdened with what's not going right. Making sure that we have time to work out and attend to our physical body. But all of those different elements, mind, spirit, and body, they're part of who we are. We have to make sure that we feed those.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. I can definitely see where, when you were talking, I was just thinking about, you know what? I need to make sure that I maintain, for instance, my basketball day and my, those different things that we do just to get away and just to be able to, really kind of decompress. I mean,
absolutely.
Now make me feel so bad because I spend maybe 5 or 6 hours out on the court there. So no, that's really cool. So like speaking about you as an entrepreneur, now. I thought it was very interesting to kind of know your background. Okay, let's talk about we don't have to go all the way back to the Virginia Beach days, right? But professionally, we could even start at at Clark Atlanta University. I think it would help people to know kind of what drove you into entrepreneurship, your background, your family, the family business. Different things like that, because I think we're dealing with a lot of people nowadays where they're in transition, whether it's a career transition or they're like, you know what, I quit. I'm going to start my own shop, So how did you get to that point?
Well, that is a great question, and I am a product of my experiences, as we all are. I grew up in an entrepreneurial household, so my father has been a business owner almost his whole life. He had a few jobs, but since I've been born, I think pretty much almost my whole entire life. That's all I know from my father. Really, it's all I know from both my parents as well. So my mom recently retired as a national in Mary Kay. My father's always been a businessman and very health conscious, and we started a major business in the DC area, government contracting. So entrepreneurship is I was just bred for it, if you will. It's just what I know. So even though I've worked in corporate environments, which have also served me very well because it's taught me a lot, and I see it as a education and another level of college degree without having to pay for it, but getting paid for it. That's the way I look at the corporate grind, if you will, because it also helps you, deal with some of the challenges of that when you are entrepreneurial as well. But those two influences of my parents, and they came from those influences as well. So it's just in my lineage, but also the influence of health and beauty. If you put those together, it is what the spa world is all about. So I went to Clark Atlanta. I majored in business. I knew I loved business. I didn't know what I wanted for sure, but I knew that I didn't see myself long term in a corporate cubicle. Even though it has served a purpose, I knew that probably wouldn't be long term for me. So a couple of years into my postgraduate at Clark career, I'd done some work at Edward Jones, and I'd done some work for the Hartford. So it was very clear to me, in terms of being in a corporate environment, the pros and cons. I learned about the spa industry, and then the spa industry wasn't as prevalent as it is now. It was more for very, if you would say, affluent, wealthy people. Now even my little nieces have been to little kiddie spas of some sort are everywhere. But I still felt a little silly. So I would say sometimes, and I felt a little silly because it just seemed like I didn't know where to begin. I knew that this world of spa, as I was learning about it, really appealed to me. It made me feel alive. I felt an adrenaline rush. So that's one thing I could say to people that are thinking about being a business owner. What makes your spirit come alive? What makes you just feel that excitement on the inside when you think about a particular industry or activities that you love? Well, I felt that. And so I said, I want to do this, but I didn't even know where to start. I didn't know if I should become a massage therapist. I didn't know if I should go to cosmetology school. I have a degree. I come from a family of business owners, so why don't I just work in the family business is the question. But, we have to be true to who we are, and I believe that we've all been designed with a unique purpose, and our gifts and our passions tie to that. So we don't ever want to ignore them. But it did take me some reading and really talking to people, which is why I love coaching people, because I had someone ask me, and I didn't know it at the time, this is when I was living in Detroit, what I was doing in Detroit. And I said, I'm here working for the Hartford. And she said, is that what you think your purpose is? She said, is that what you think your purpose is? And it hit me like a ton of bricks, because I knew it wasn't, and I hated my job. And she said, well, what is it? What do you think it is? And at that time, I didn't have a very super clear perspective, but I said, I think it's to have a spa. And she didn't laugh at me, and she didn't make it seem silly, because our dreams are not silly. And it really gave me the courage to start reading more, and then start volunteering at some full service spas, and just kind of immersing myself in that world. And the more I learned about it, my mom has a quote, go as far as you can see, and then you'll see further. Then I learned that it opens up into a world of health and well-being, and that is not just fluff and luxurious pampering, but it's really it offers a world that ties into therapeutic wholeness and holistic living. And that's where I even found myself even more intrigued and more drawn to helping people live a life of well-being, mind, spirit, and body.
Yeah, sure. So I think that's perfect segue into just kind of going back into the life coaching, because you spoke of people experiencing a peak life experience, right? And you were talking about, the coaching, it's not therapy, it's not counseling, but you're really, a thought partner there. And so if you could, talk a little bit about that, because I think that's really important. Like, I mean, hey, as a man, as a manly man, I do enjoy some of the spa things, spa treatment well, but I think there is something more to that. When we're talking about how we treat ourselves. And so maybe you could, kind of tell us more about on that end of things.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Josh, because really, as we talk about, spas, we're talking about self-care. And we do need to care for ourselves. If we're not going to, who will? And so that level of self-care really is also a reflection of how we feel about ourselves, how we value ourselves, how we see ourselves, how we think about ourselves. And everything starts with a thought, whether it's good or bad. And so we want to be directing our thoughts. And as a thought partner and as a coach, it's always good, iron sharpens iron. It's always good to align yourself with someone that's going to be able to help you see the next level of your life. And so anyone that has a goal that they would like to achieve, a desired outcome, as a coach, my job is to partner with them to find out, what is it that you value? What is it that your desired life, a life that you love, what does that look like? And helping them to vision cast that, and asking them provocative questions to provoke the answers that are already inside. So as a coach, it's not I'm directing your life and necessarily telling you need to do A, B, C, and D, but really I'm asking the questions to unveil those answers and bring them to the surface. What do you value? Same way that woman asked me, which was Dr. Joel Pookrum, and she's a holistic physician. She said, do you feel like this is what your purpose is? She said, then what is it? And so as a coach, it's some of that same sort of philosophy that I'm asking the right questions, and then we're working together to create a strategic plan with action steps and timelines. And I'm also serve as an accountability partner to say, okay, so Josh, what is it that you feel like you really should be doing? What's not working? What would you like to be doing more of? What would you like to see manifested in your life in the next 2 to 3 years? So what steps do we need to take to get you there? What have been the obstacles that have been getting in the way? What do you foresee being the challenges that are going to pop up? Because without looking at all of these things in every single layer, then it's going to be likely that we stay stuck. and that we don't materialize those desired outcomes. So as a coach, those are all of the different ways that I work with my clients so they can actually get there. And I have a coach, and my experience has been, even the way I've rebranded my own company this year started with a coaching session and helping me to just flush out every detail, every possibility, and make it manifest into a reality. So that's what coaching is all about.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot. And so when you're talking to somebody, right? When you're speaking to a business owner or someone who's considering going into entrepreneurship, at which point do you feel like you tell people, you know what, you're ready to talk to a coach?
I would say anybody that has some goals, but they are ready to take action. Some people just like to talk about it. To work with a coach, you need to be ready to be about it. You know, you need to be invested enough in your life and in your future and in your goals that you are going to be accountable for taking the steps to make your life into what it is that you dream of it being. And so that's it. If a person has any goals, anything that they want to achieve, anything they want to be different, whether it's as simple as, I really want a promotion. I've been on this job for 3 years. I'm ready to go to the next level. Or, I love photography or making cupcakes, or I'm always helping people, with organization. I would like to make money at it. It could be something as simple as that, or it could be I would really like to have better relationships in my family. It could be so many different areas because our lives are so multi-layered, if you will. But if they're committed enough, and not just in a dream state, but they're committed enough to say, you know what, I want this bad enough, I'm ready to do something about it, then they're ready for a coach.
Wow. Okay. So if you're looking for a coach and you were kind of wondering, like, or maybe you not even know if you're looking for a coach, but you're saying I'm looking at making a change or looking at doing something, then this is probably something as an entrepreneur that I would recommend to you, fellow entrepreneurs and fellow future entrepreneurs, and kind of going back out to just about making ourselves stand out in the marketplace. And I think that's obviously like super, super important to have some kind of unique value proposition where, people are like, hey, I need to choose Joshua, I need to choose Naya, I need to choose Lily, for this specific, function in my organization. How do you approach that? Because, in 2014, we have the internet that's supposedly like this great equalizer. But when you look around, it's like, hey, how do I stand out? And I noticed that on your website, you proudly display the emblem for the International Coach Federation. I know that's one of the things that we talked about as far as, gaining credibility and authority in the marketplace. It's just, hey, I'm going to get a certain certification. So could you speak more of like that strategic mindset of how you do that?
Absolutely. I think that there is so much competition in terms of just entrepreneurial vision, people starting their own businesses and their companies, remembering that we are our own personal brand. And so we're going to be our biggest advocate. We're going to be our biggest brand ambassador. So it's the life that we're living, but it's also the credentials that we have, the homework that we've done, the additional level of study or certification. So I think, for example, in the world of coaching, it's just kind of like a sexy buzzword where people put coaching on the end of so many different things. As a coach for myself, I wanted to make sure that I had the proper training to really provide my clients with a authentic but also professional coaching experience. And so I did do some postgraduate studies with the College of Executive Coaching, and I made sure that I selected an organization that actually is accredited by the International Coaching Federation. So in my industry, that is, I would say, the most respected credentialing organization, and that's what people are going to be looking for that really know about the industry. And I constantly take continuing education credits and classes, so I'm learning from other coaches. I'm partnering with people from around the globe, utilizing the internet and things like that. So I would say for anyone that's an entrepreneur, you want to make sure that you have studied. I've been in my wellness industry now for over 13 years, going on 14 years. I'm also a massage therapist. I've studied aromatherapy. I've studied different sorts of holistic health modalities, and it's something that I love. So you want to be able to, and I've worked in it in a lot of different layers. So I also have a spa division of my company, the Utopia Living brand. So Spa Utopia, when I'm talking to my massage therapist, I know what it means to be a massage therapist. I know what it is to when I'm marketing to even my hotel clients for Spa Utopia. I can tell them the ins and the outs and the quality controls that they need to have in place, which makes us more credible. So you always want to have credibility. You always want to show yourself as studied in your area and get a lot of experience, even if you have to volunteer your time, do an internship, job shadow, make yourself an expert by writing articles, doing video chats and blogs, but just kind of show people that you have the knowledge and expertise to be an expert in that particular subject matter.
Sure. Now speaking of expertise in writing, you actually have a book that you're working on,
Yes.
right? Yeah. How to Live Luxuriously Lean.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I know we're almost at our time here, so I just wanted to kind of, learn more about that. I know it's not released yet, but
Yeah.
everybody bookmark this on your calendars, okay? Make sure that you know when this is coming out because this just sounds so juicy. Now, how'd you come up with the concept and the title, and what made you say, you know what, people need to know about this?
Well, I think a number of things. The times that we live in, everyone doesn't have just an abundance of money, right? And we've definitely, in our economy, I would say over the last, I would say probably 7 or 8 years, there have been challenges for a lot of people, employment factors and downsizing and things of that nature. And so with my life coaching, with me being having a holistic perspective, I really believe in just finding the simple abundances of life and really creating really fulfilling experiences that don't always have to, that are affordable, fulfilling experiences that are affordable. And so when we think about what makes life wonderful, for most people it's not about the things, it's about relationships, it's about memories, it's about experiences. So I wanted to create a book that really chronicles some of the things that I do. Being an entrepreneur, I know what it's like to have peak and valley seasons throughout life, and especially in finances. I know what it's like to want to be social and have a great time but not have a lot of money. So it could be, I know how to throw a dinner party that is really fabulous and I could have 8 people over and I've only spent $40. So,
You got to tell me about that one now.
Yeah,
8
yeah,
people,
you get the
$40.
pitching.
Yeah, you definitely got to share that secret. I guess I
Yeah,
need
I
to read the
definitely
book.
you got to know where to shop, but you just kind of sometimes you're keeping it simple. It's making sometimes rice dish or a stew or something like that. I also love to try new recipes. Sometimes it's just having people come over, and I've had a poolside sundown Sunday where I've invited my friends over and we all sat by the pool and we ordered sushi, so that took pressure off of me. But I had a Sunday station with frozen yogurt and fresh fruit toppings and things like that, and so we took it from the pool over to my place, and so that costs little of nothing. But you light your candles, you have fresh flowers, things like that. It's just learning how to create experiences. It actually ties into a Father's Day event that I'm actually putting on with Utopia Living, affordable fun, being out in the park, taking a picnic basket, going to free festivals. There's so much that we can do that's just really enjoyable, that ties in our family, our fun, and things of that nature. So like with our Father's Day event, it's going to be at Piedmont Park. It's going to be Saturday, the 14th. It's going to be a field day of fun and relay races and obstacle courses. We're going to have empowerment speakers. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to have food available, but it's just promoting fatherhood and male mentorship and positive male leadership for our communities, which is so important. And I like to do things like this because I want people to leave with, wow, that was such a good time. And you know what? We can come out here next weekend with our family and friends, and we can bring our own food and our own drinks and our own snacks and have a great time. And really, it didn't cost anything. And so it's really promoting a lifestyle.
Wow. So, speaking of lifestyle, we all have time constraints, and so I know that we have to wrap this thing up. But I would have to say it's been a pleasure to have this chat with you. I'm really grateful to you for taking out this time. And if people want to find you, they want to follow you online. Where do they go?
Okay, I'm glad you asked, and this has been really a lot of fun, so thank you, Josh. They can go to my website, which is Naya, Nayaf Powell.com. So Naya, Nayaf is in Frank or Fela, Powell.com. They can also follow me on Instagram at Naya F. Powell or Twitter at Naya Powell or Facebook at Naya Powell. So they can do all of those things. And I do want to encourage people. I want you, if you are a wife, a mother, I want you to go to the website. I want you to register on Eventbrite for our Family Fun Day in the Park. If you're a father or a mentor, bring your kids, bring your mentees out. If you're a grown person like me and like you, and you have a parent, your father's nearby, bring them. I'm bringing my dad. So this will be family fun for every age. We will even have mentor matching. So single moms, feel free to give me a call if you want to bring your kids out, because we are going to have some mentors there ready to mentor for the day, so they don't feel left out on Father's Day. They're able to actually enjoy some uplifting family fun as well. So this is for everybody, and it's extremely affordable, and it's for a cause. 50% of the proceeds support underprivileged kids going to youth summer camp. So we love to see you there, and this is in partnership with Utopia Living and Linked Up Church.
Awesome. So everybody, you got all the info. You know how to find Miss Naya F. Powell. All right. Thank you so much for taking out your time to watch this and to be a part of this with us. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Again, Joshua McCoy with Naya F. Powell. Thank you.
Thank